What's up, everybody? The Omega Dudes, episode number 5. Got a lot of interesting things to cover today, actually. Disney Investor Day, huge bombshell dropped. We're not getting 1, we're not getting 2, but 11 new Star Wars installments, including Rogue Squadron, an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and Droid Story with C3PO and R2D2. They're getting their own series. Awesome. Also, I don't know if you know, but SpaceX's Starship just had its maiden flight, and it'll be the last one for a little bit because it exploded. They're also starting a rideshare program to space. That and more after the intro. All right, here we go. Before we start though, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and please comment. I am going to say comment so many times this episode because we want you right there to comment. Come on, just try it out. What are you waiting for? Right now, go down, scroll down. We'll wait, we got time. Scroll down, click on the little add comment section, type something out, say.
Chris, we should...
Here's a comment, YouTube, since that's all you care about. Click.
Yeah.
What's up, Parrish?
We should probably stick a plug in here at some point to get these people to comment.
That's actually a good idea. All right, hold on. Let me start over. So if we can get you guys to comment down in this section below, that would be grand.
Listen to this.
Come on. Yeah, we know you want to. All right, so let's start off with a little bit of news. So first, SpaceX. Their Starship, which has been making headlines all over the place because it's a pretty radical concept. It just had its first flight and the landing was a little bit rough. Let's just say that. In fact, I found a GIF and I'm going to play it in the little logo screen right now. So as you can see, here it comes. Touchdown, boom.
Chris,
Boom.
might have to settle for the bronze this year. That's a rough.
They definitely did not stick the landing on that one. But the thing is, though, is that Elon Musk is actually pretty happy with the whole thing. Chaz, let's hear from you. You did a little bit of research. Our correspondent Chaz over here. What'd you find out?
Well, they call it the SN8. They've had 8 versions of this thing, and this actually made the longest flight. They took it 8 miles up, went through the stratosphere, came down. Elon Musk wasn't even worried. Like if you watch him, he's even afterwards, he's still laughing and smoking a cigar. He said there was a 66% chance that was going to happen. He didn't even care.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a new thing. He was
excited as all get out, and he knew what the problem was, but they pushed through it anyway because they were testing all the other automated features and stuff of this thing.
Yeah.
Plus, they already have another one built and ready to go. The SN9s they're already planning its flight. It's already done.
They've just been rolling these things out, and which is crazy because what did you say that the engines on these things, the rocket engines, cost?
$62 million
a piece.
The engines, yeah, and this thing has 3 of them. 3.
Wow,
it's like
that's crazy.
And we're not even talking about the rest of the shell and everything because thankfully they do this for like a third of the cost of what NASA used to. I think every space flight for them was like $17 billion.
Yeah, that
was 20 years ago. But that was 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it for a fraction of that. But still, they're using a stainless steel construction rather than all the titanium and plating that NASA used to use. And it's a much better product.
Well, they're not paying $50,000 for toilet seats. You know what I mean? So
that's true. Well, I don't think they have seats in spaceships for the toilet, though. They just have that little vacuum hole, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just stick it on your junk and out you go.
Yeah, boom.
A wide mouth vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, cutting costs. That's brilliant.
Speaking of which, by 2022, Elon Musk is planning on having SpaceX chartering its first commercial flights into space. Oh. No joke. For the low price of starting at $1 million, you can go to space.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. I read about the rideshare program that they're going to be doing, and I don't know if this is related at all, but this is more for payload things. And as long as you weigh under 200 kilograms, it's about $1 million, depending on what orbit you want to be launched into. But yeah, if you're over 200 kilograms, for every kilogram over, I think it's another $5,000, which is just pocket change for, going to space. But
you're
whatever.
Already
but
it's awesome. That kind of money down.
Yeah, absolutely. And, even though this thing crashed, what we got to remember is that SpaceX has really done a lot for space travel and innovation. Yeah. I mean, their rockets, what was it, the Falcon 9? I can't remember what the first one was, but the self-landing rocket, reusable rocket. I mean, we didn't have anything like that
first of its kind.
Yeah, and remember how many times...
There's no one even close to these guys on anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's talking about having people on Mars by 2026. And NASA's hoping to have people back on the moon by 2024, but Elon Musk is pushing to have the Mars thing by 2024. So it's like, who's going to be the first one there? Is it going to be the U.S. government, or is it going to be Elon Musk?
Yeah,
my money's on Musk.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I always I always put my money on private investment.
I was going to say private enterprise for sure.
Yeah, private enterprise.
Well, I mean, Elon Musk comes up to you and goes, "Hey, man, I need an investor. I've got a new business venture idea. Well, how much do you need, bro?"
No kidding.
I've got $10. Here you go. Just put my name on that owner thing. I will follow you anywhere.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we'll see what happens going forward. It's actually pretty cool. I'm looking forward to what happens with this whole Starship thing. I mean, it's stainless steel spaceship. I mean, it's just iconic. It's so radical. It's got that super heavy rocket. Yeah.
It's cost effective. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe the final design, he'll use like titanium or something because it's lighter. I don't know. Maybe it's stainless steel just because they're all test flights and it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, there were some reasons for that. I won't talk about it too much now because I can't remember exactly what it was, but it had something to do, I think, with like re-entry and reusability or something like that is why he chose stainless steel. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, there was a reason for it. But
no, guys, you're thinking too far into it. He's just going for that that retro Rocketeer mid-century modern is hot right now. That's what he's going for.
He wanted it to look like a monolith. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, right.
Yeah, we're gonna take one of them. We're gonna put it in space.
He grew up with all of his father's, the future is coming. Little cartoons that they had back in like the 50s, where everything was stainless steel and super shiny and glass and.
It
was like watching a Looney Tunes cartoon. You got Marvin the Martian trying to land this thing, and it just went.
Yeah, let's pull that back up again. Here it goes. Oh, yeah, ow. And I know that it was a test flight, and they got all of the data they were hoping for. They were testing flight controls and all that stuff, control surfaces, everything. But still, I mean, that's a big explosion. I'll just say that.
So $180 million ish.
Yeah, I think that if I had been working on, I mean, and I'm not calling the man a liar, not calling him a liar, but if I, had this company that was designing space flights that were already talking about ride-sharing programs, and one of them goes up in a ball of flames on re-entry, I think the first thing that I would think of when people are like, "Hey man, what's up with that?" I'd be like, "Nah, I meant to do that, dog."
Yeah, well, the dude also brought bringing astronauts to the ISS back to the U.S. So I mean, hey, he's kicking ass. That's all there is to it. Yeah. So
bad props, bad respect for that man.
Definitely. So again, big news about Star Wars coming up, but we got a couple other stories we're going to touch on first. Comment if you saw that SpaceX explosion. We want to hear what you thought about it. What do you think of SpaceX going to Mars? Do you think they'll hit their 2026 target? let us know down in the comment section.
I also want to know, when y'all are in the comment section too, I want to hear maybe a little bit about what's this going to look like with the what's this going to make the moon hoax conspiracy theorists say when we start going back to the moon and Mars. Holy cow.
Yeah, and flat earthers.
What's that going to look like?
Oh yeah.
And finally, Elon Musk versus NASA. Which one you got your money on?
That's another good one. Let's hear it down in the comment section.
Elon Musk.
A Fort Bragg soldier was found dead. So this guy, Enrique Roman Martinez, was a 21-year-old stationed at Fort Bragg. He went out camping with 7 friends. They woke up the next morning. He was gone. Cell phone, glasses. I guess the guy really needed his glasses, wallet, everything were just left behind, and just disappeared. So they called 911. Military personnel launched an extensive search. They looked all over the place. Unfortunately, they found his remains, or parts of him. It was just his head. Autopsy report showed that there were plenty of chop marks. His jaw was broken. Homicide for sure. In fact, the law enforcement says that while the definitive cause of death can't be determined, the findings in this case are most consistent with homicide, which I would say so. You find a guy's head, a soldier's head nonetheless, washed up on the beach. Don't find his body still. They're still doing underwater searches looking for it. He went out with 7 friends camping, and then this happened. It's the craziest story, a soldier.
How does that even happen? I mean, you got to. I mean, he's 21, so I'm guessing he's already been in the military for 3 years. So he's probably on leave or something. So I mean, he's most likely still in the military. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because the military did a search, right?
Yeah, and where they were is right near Fort Bragg. Where Army.
How does that happen? You don't just sneak up on a trained military personnel. Anybody, you don't do it. So I mean, it had to have been somebody he knew.
Parrish. You were talking about that. What was your opinion on that? You were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. So I mean, Chris, I know you're a fan of true crime too. So you probably, anybody who's a fan of true crime or has done like investigations and stuff knows that usually in the case of homicides, it's quite a bit more often than not. It's whoever's closest to that person. So, it's too early. It's, obviously we don't know anything yet. It's too early to say, but, I don't know what they've done. I'm sure they've cleared, or they're working on clearing all of the people that were camping with him. But, those are the closest people to him when he died. I did pull up. I was able to find the News and Observer, which is like the major, the major local paper here they're in Fayetteville, where Fort Bragg is located, and they were saying they had an update. This was 8 hours ago, 8.5 hours ago from this time right now. And they said that they've been dive teams have been out searching the waters off of Cape Lookout, which is where his head washed up to shore. So that kind of actually opens up some interesting things there. I mean,
so really quick, Parrish, not to cut you off, but I'm pretty sure it was, I can't remember the exact location. I was looking at my notes, but apparently I'm not a very good note taker, but I thought that they were camping somewhere in Illinois. I just want to put that out there before you continue. Not that it affects things.
This says, to date, investigators have reported only the head of the 21-year-old has been recovered after it washed up on the Shackleford banks, and where they're searching, the waters they're searching is Cape Lookout National Seashore.
Okay.
So they were camping in Illinois, so that means somebody killed him and brought his body back?
Well, hold on one second. Let's see. Where is this part? Let's just get this right really quick. No,
Yeah,
North Carolina. So I guess maybe what I had
maybe
maybe what
that's
I
where
had
it's
seen
from.
was incorrect. But anyways, not that that really matters too much. We're getting off track. So what were you gonna say,
Sorry.
Parrish?
Oh no, just that that is interesting because so here's the thing. Chris, didn't you say something about they found like he wasn't really functional without his glasses? Like he
Correct.
so and they found the glasses in his tent or wherever he was
Correct.
sleeping. So like he wouldn't have gone anywhere like in town or whatever because he couldn't really operate without his glasses.
And his
So what I'm
wallet
thinking is
and
and his
cell
wallet,
phone.
right. So where do you leave your why would you leave behind glasses, wallet, and cell phone if you're getting wet, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe he took a morning swim. There are there have been many shark attacks on the Outer Banks of North Carolina and the coastal North Carolina areas. There's been great whites sighted out there. Um, yeah,
Hey, yeah, that didn't even come to mind, but
me neither. Till just now, and I
definitely.
saw that.
Well,
Yeah,
all I
absolutely.
can
That's
say is regards to his family, condolences.
Yeah.
it's a
That's
terrible, terrible
it's. I
thing.
mean, deaths are hard enough to deal with, but the whole not knowing aspect of it has got to be 10 times worse. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
condolences to you guys.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Our hearts go out to
Thoughts
you.
and
That's
prayers
a
on that.
horrible thing. We hope for a speedy, at least, resolution to all of this for the family. So, next up, this is the last thing before we get to this bombshell that was dropped at the Disney Investor Day. So, Amazon apparently is using Pinkerton agents to spy on employees that even consider, probably even think about starting unions because they have Alexa now. They probably have, all kinds of other little spy devices. They probably have the thought police inside of Amazon, but inside the U.S., outside the U.S. and Europe, apparently happens in Poland and a couple other places. But they track social media, and for all those that don't know, Chaz, you know about Pinkertons, right? Parrish, you know about Pinkertons.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead
Yeah,
and
they
give a
were the
little bit of
ones who were
history.
after. Yeah, well, Chaz is the history guy, but
Oh, go ahead.
what I know of the Pinkertons, I learned from the movie Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
Yeah, so they're basically back in the day. They were kind of like they were like basically a private security guard and detective agency. Uh, I can't remember who they were founded by, but this was quite a while ago. Like I think even into the 1800s, and it was just kind of like the old timey enforcers and private investigators of olden times. But they're still around, and they still are not someone that you want to have tailing you. Put it that
No,
way. So
no.
this is how steadfast Amazon is. It's kind of like Walmart about anti-unionization. Like you cannot even discuss that,
No.
or you are just blacklisted. You're
Yeah.
going to be gone. Yeah.
Disappear. My dad used to work for him. Hated every second of it. Not that it's a
Really?
bad company or anything. He worked in the warehouse, and he's hated working in a warehouse. But that going on another tangent. But it's like legit. Anytime the word union was mentioned, anything like that, those people weren't around much long. I'm not saying they got killed or anything like that. They didn't work there long.
But you're not saying that they didn't.
I'm not saying they didn't.
So the thing about Pinkerton, man, is I kind of took a dive into them a little bit. Not a dive. I did about
More of a
3
face
seconds.
plant.
Literally
Dipped your toe in.
10 seconds of Google searching. So
Sure.
a deep dive of basically I'm a PhD in Pinkerton history and company structure. So according to the Wall Street Journal, they're mad and sick and tired of being the bad guys. ever since Paul Newman jumped off the cliff and said, "Oh shit!" For all you Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid fans, yeah, they're tired of being the bad guys. Apparently, in this the new video game Red Dead Redemption 2, they're they name the Pinkerton Detective Agency as the main antagonist in this video game, and they're pissed. It's like, but then you're hired by Amazon to spy on their employees and find out like who's saying what. Like, you're not helping yourself if you're trying to change your
they just need to hire a publicist.
Right.
Yeah,
you
need a PR.
Just
they need
sweep that
PR
shit under the rug. You'd be all right.
Maybe they need to start wearing some pastels, to start watching. Go back to our episode, what was it, episode 2 video about beard grooming tips, start looking nice,
Yeah.
Touch
that shit up a
Clean it up a little bit.
All right.
Okay, guys, so here we go.
This
is what everybody's been waiting for, and our resident Star Wars expert Chaz, and I do not say that, I do not take that lightly. He is an expert. Take it, Chaz.
All right. So about 4.5 hours ago, Disney concluded their Investor Day festivities, and then a lot of this news started to trickle out and come out to the media. And obviously, being the massive Star Wars nerd that I am, I named my kid after a Star Wars character. Another story. They announced that they're bringing out 10 new series, as well as 1 feature film.
Yeah, that's just crazy. 10 new series.
Boom! And we're talking in like the next 2 years. I mean, we're going to see one of these series as soon as February. I think they were talking about. It's all getting released on Disney Plus.
February 2021.
Yeah.
Wow, February 2021, new series, Star Wars series, Disney Plus.
And that's impressive that they've kept a lid on that for this long.
No kidding.
Let me go down this list real quick. All right, so the feature film, I can't pronounce his name, but it's Taika Waititi. It's the guy that directed Thor Ragnarok. I thought it was a funny movie. I thought it was a cool movie. So I'm kind of interested to see his take on Star Wars. But the series we got coming out, we got the Droid Story. Basically, it's R2D2 and C3PO guiding a new hero.
Which I'm so glad that they're back.
But that's literally all the description you got on it. You got another one called The Acolyte, which is going to go into Old Republic stuff, like the final days of the High Republic, which is like, for you non-Star Wars nerds, that's like 200 years before the Phantom Menace. So before Star Wars, the Episode 1, you're 200 years before that. So I don't know that should still be the rule. Anyway, but it's supposed to be about like the dark side of the Force, and it's supposed to be a really dark series. You got the one coming up about Lando Calrissian. Don't know if that's going to be Billy D. Williams from the original film, or if it's going to be Donald Glover from the new one.
Or if they're going to do a Flashpoint and have both.
No. They're not.
Flashpoints. You get a flashpoint, and you get a flashpoint.
But they're doing a couple animated ones. They're doing Star Wars Visions, which is just all it says. It's a short story animated, and then they're doing something called The Bad Batch, which is a Clone Wars era animated thing. And probably one of the few that I'm really excited about is the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. They brought back Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and they even got Hayden Christensen to come back as Darth Vader.
Whoa.
It's not like he's been getting much work these days anyway. I mean,
still,
no kidding.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that they're getting the actual people that were from the movies and not having, like, DC is one of the worst offenders for having like a movie character and then a TV show character, and they're the same person, but different.
And then we got
actors.
The next
it's so
series.
Frustrating.
The next series is from Rogue One. It's for you guys saw that movie. It was Cassian Andor. The series is called Andor. It's about him. Don't know the timeline on that. I don't know if it's pre-Episode 4 or if it's post-Empire.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Post-Battle of Yavin.
Now, so Rogue One. That's is that like a Rogue Squadron reference? No. Okay, so explain that to me.
Rogue One was
the good one.
They broke off from the rebels and just called themselves Rogue One, because they were the only ship, and they went to get intel on the Empire. That's literally the end of that movie.
Right. So Rogue One, gotcha. Rogue One was the movie that already came out. So they're doing a series about
based off of
that.
a character from that show.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, because Rogue One. Sorry, I got confused there for a second because Rogue One, which is funny that I got confused because it's actually my favorite of the new Star Wars movies that have come out. Absolutely loved it. It was so. I thought it was great. Yeah, great. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to that.
Okay,
so
sure.
Who was Cassian Andor? Was it the main girl, the main character? I don't remember.
No. Well, I'll get into that. I still got like 3 or 4 more to go. Hold on. Ahsoka Tano. I am so excited to hear this one. For those of you that don't know, this was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. So this is the guy Darth Vader was training to be a Jedi before he flipped out.
And
the most recent episode of The Mandalorian is that chick.
Yeah. Okay, so what Chaz beat me to it. He didn't let me say spoiler alert, but so we'll fix it in post. Just flip us, and everybody who's been watching The Mandalorian, they gets the next one, the last episode. Spoiler alert! If you don't want to hear it, we'll just flip them in post.
Whenever you see that Omega Dudes logo, that's going to be synonymous with spoiler. In fact, whenever you see Chaz's face, that'll just be spoiler alert.
The spoiler and
it's going to become a new meme.
2 more. Rangers of the New Republic. I have no idea what the show's going to be about, who's in it, other than it's this and the Ahsoka Tano series are both taking place in the same time as The Mandalorian. So you're going to see cross-series references with that, much like you do in the Arrowverse with Flash and Arrow and DC Legends of Tomorrow. And then the final one, which I'm sure everybody's excited for, Rogue Squadron.
There we go. That's why I was confused. Right.
That's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know at what point it's going to be Rogue Squadron. I really hope they pull out Wedge Antilles. But
Wedge, yes. I know. I used to play Rogue Squadron, that video game, back when I was young. I loved that game. That was so much fun. Oh,
dude, Rogue Squadron was the bomb. I played that. Wasn't that on like Sega 32X?
I think it was. I think I played 64. It on. Nintendo 64. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I remember there was a code that you could type in where you could get the Naboo Starfighter as well. Yeah, all
and
that.
Dude,
fun.
That thing rocked. Which makes total sense. That ship that was like 30 to 50 years older than the ships everybody else was using was like the elite top of the line.
It's that stainless steel on the front, like Elon Musk.
Stainless steel.
Elon Musk designed that one.
Yeah. Yep. See, maybe Musk was a Star Wars fan. He was born on Naboo. That's why he's so on a different level than the rest of humanity.
He was a design consultant on the film.
He was definitely a Star Wars fan.
Oh, absolutely.
I would put my paycheck on that.
Yes. So I'm pretty stoked about, pretty much all of this. This is going to be really cool. That's a lot of new content to look forward to. And I'm really kind of glad. Go for it.
A ton, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like I had all kinds of other stuff that I wanted to go over today, but it was just, I can't. But while we're on the Star Wars topic, one of my favorite video games of all time was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Sure.
Ironically, next week, they're getting released for Apple and Android, so you can just download them on your phone and play them on the go. So I thought that was awesome.
Kidding. Yeah. Any idea what they're going to cost?
That's cool.
$10 probably.
Oh, wow.
That's the first one. I think I think a lot of times with these like Call of Duty and stuff and some of these higher end games that are coming to apps are cheaper because they know they're going to get you in there and get you on the what do they call it, in-game purchases, you know?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's definitely where that's like the business model of all, pretty much all games nowadays. I was going to say mobile games, but it's pretty much going, everywhere. They have all those packages that you can buy. But which is frustrating as heck because you buy a game and then it's like all the people out there you can complete the game and level up without doing it, but everybody else is just spending money hand over fist, just leveling up like crazy and getting all the best stuff, and it just doesn't make it any fun.
The worst one The absolute worst one, and we'll probably move on from there, was ironically Mass Effect. Again, one of my favorite games. Mass Effect 3, the end of it, they not even the end of it, but it's just like it was engineered with add-on packages ready to go like a week later, 2 weeks later, that people had to purchase so you could actually complete the game at 100%.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah, so and the thing about that is the thing about that, my wife and I, we both say this, like I'll put in-app purchases for like games and things like that. But I think the big thing with that for me personally is just on principle. If I get to a game and they're all out there, you see these app games all the time. Like and comment, by the way, if you have like name the app, name the game that you've played and gone up to a brick wall to where it's not just too hard or it's not just takes forever to get past the level, but you actually have to purchase something with your money to get past a certain level. Whenever that stuff, I don't care if it's 50 cents, I don't care if it's 99 cents, if there's a pay for play part in a game, I'm done playing that game. And it's fun because I'll drop money. I've dropped a lot of money on games and like getting past here and getting this extra stars or whatever. Dude, if you make me play just to get, or you make me pay money just to get to the next level, I'm out.
Yeah. Boo.
So y'all tell me if you think that's stupid or not.
The absolute worst one that I've ever played, which is sad because it's stupidly addictive, is a mobile game, and it's Game of Thrones Conquest. I legitimately, I have met people, spoken with people that have invested $120,000, $130,000+ into these games.
Dude, you're joking.
No, I'm 100% serious. To build their accounts up and make them what they are. And there's actually a market for those kinds of things. People that take these accounts and they build up these accounts and then they sell them.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, you can make a lot of money.
Their ass, some of them make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a certain point at which there's a balance. A certain point that if you wait too long, you're not going to be able to sell it and make a profit.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, especially all the stupid things that they have in there, like skins for guns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, that just coincidentally leads me into the good guy with a gun segment for this week. That was a rough transition. Comment below if you just loved that transition. Throw me all the hate that you got. We want to see it. So, this one...
How's that haterade taste, bro?
Oh, it's just... Here, wait, hold on. Let me taste it. Not bad. Not bad.
Piss water.
Yeah. So, good guy with a gun this week. Store clerk shoots an armed man and woman that tried to rob his store. So, guy and a woman thought it'd be a good idea to go to this convenience store and bring a gun along and just take some money, take some product, whatever. We don't need to live by the rules. We're just going to come in there and take whatever we want. So they came in, had a gun, were threatening people. Well, the store clerk just so happened to be able to sneak over and grab his little pistol from under the counter, and he just unloaded. Shot both of them multiple times. They ran out of the store, jumped into a getaway car. Okay? Yeah, round of applause for that store clerk. Right off.
He's got the huevos.
Yeah, right off rip. Yeah, letting people get away with that, and you'll have the people out there that say things like, "Oh, he didn't need to use a gun, or he didn't need to shoot." Yeah, whatever. Yeah, they came in with a gun.
He's still alive.
Good but Chris, what if the couple just wanted money and they weren't going to shoot anybody? Why even shoot them?
Then they shouldn't have been standing there.
Yeah, he should have known that, right? He should have known that they weren't going to shoot him. But yeah, whatever. That's all garbage. So good job.
Yeah,
good job.
Good on you guys.
But what's even better is that this man and the woman weren't alone. They had a getaway driver or two. Police aren't sure yet. But so they jumped into the back of this car. They go screaming away. Well, the police catch up to them and they chase them down a dead-end road. the driver and whoever else was in the car jump out, leaving the two shot people in the back to get handcuffed. And of course, they're at the hospital, handcuffed to their beds now. Probably have Kamala Harris saying they're proud of them. And yeah. So
raising money for their bail.
yeah, right. So yeah. Again, one more round of applause for that store owner. Good job. Let us know in the comment section what you think about that. I think that was a perfect and legitimate use of Second Amendment constitutional rights.
And moreover, if you happen to have a story that you guys come across and you would like to see covered, drop it in the comments too. Let us know.
Absolutely. Throw it down there.
Hit us up. Or what's the email, Chris? thedudesomega@gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Yep, that's on our About section. You can find it there. Comment, everything. Just reach out. We'd love to hear from you. We want to talk to you. If you guys, how about this? If you're sitting out there and you just need a friend, if you just need a friend, maybe you're lonely. All of this COVID stuff that's going on right now, there's a lot of separation. Maybe you're lonely and you just need some bros to talk to. Come talk to us.
We're your dudes.
Come talk to us. Yeah. We'll be your buddies, man. We got you. Okay.
It's been so long since I've clapped non-sarcastically that I felt like it was when I was doing that, it felt wrong.
Yeah, it seems like you were.
You know what's wrong and applauding that's wrong.
Oh, if I wanted to
Have you seen a football game lately? That is horrendous.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yes, I have seen a football game lately. I haven't seen any games this year. I haven't watched any sports this year at all. I've been too busy, and they all kind of got canceled at the beginning of the year, so I just kind of like whatever. And so I was at the cabin with my in-laws last week doing Thanksgiving stuff. As I told you, that big long boring, embarrassing story about how I stuck my foot in my mouth and chewed vigorously with my in-laws. They were watching a football game. It was the Steelers and Ravens last week, and I'm watching. I'm like, oh man, football! It's been so long. Sitting there watching, I'm like, wow, there's nobody in the Steelers stadium. As the camera pans, there's like 5 people up in the stands, just
that one guy in the back. You can do it.
Yeah, you got Rob Schneider in the back. You can do it.
And then the Louisiana line coach.
So, yeah, that guy. He was there. He was there with his mask on. And then it goes like in between plays, and I noticed after watching it for a little bit, I'm like, is there like an audience? Are they pumping in the audience sound? Like they're pumping in the audience sound like a non-funny sitcom doing a laugh track. They have an audience track.
It gets worse. Each stadium had to go out and individually hire a sound engineer. The sound engineer went through old film and stuff to get audio for that team to pump through each individual home team stadium. Okay. Now, and that's just so there's not dead air for the players on the field. So it's actually coming through the speakers in the stadium, but it doesn't go over 70 decibels, which for you guys, that is not loud.
Right. Yeah, that's not loud at all.
So they are
musicians. It's not loud. So there's no cheering after plays. None of that they hear on the field. All the amped up stuff you hear is done in post.
Wait.
So somebody does a good play. So, there's somebody that hits the cheer button on the keyboard.
Yeah, there's somebody. So there's somebody in the control booth that's hitting that. That's only going to the TVs, like the broadcast. The people in the stadium just hear silence.
So let me clarify for me, Chaz, because as I was watching this, it just like the wheels started turning, and I was like, the more I thought about it, the more ridiculous and stupid it was to me. I was like, okay, so this is like basically a laugh track to a really lame sitcom, but it's audience, I guess, to make it sound and feel more like a real game and not like an exhibition or whatever. Hold on. And so like the And so I had the question that are they pumping the sound into the video, or is that picking, or is it picking it up over the loudspeakers? Now you're telling me the speakers in the stadium, it's pumping it into those, but it's not loud enough for the players to hear?
No, the players can hear it.
Okay.
But it's only 70 decibels. So I mean, like,
so now why do you think
you can hear a
is?
conversation like this?
Yeah.
Right.
I was thinking, like, if they are playing it for the is it so the players are like, yo, man, this sucks. There's like not even any excitement. Like they have to have that.
It's
going
probably
on
for the energy for the crowd would be my guess. Like to try and give the people that are there.
Not even, no, because most of the stadiums have no people. Like the Las Vegas Raiders, they've got this brand new, beautiful stadium that they've never had a person in.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
You know, and it's horrible. But like, you know, they pump sound into the stadium because that's it. You don't want the other team to hear what you're saying to your players, you know, through your headset, you know, to their headset so they can hear.
Gotcha.
You know, you don't want that stuff going on. So they pump out that level of sound. So, you know, but you can still hear like the quarterback call ridiculous audibles and stuff like that. You know, like Derek Carr from the Raiders, Dan Crenshaw. I
just think it's absolutely hilarious that so like, because you know, TV shows, even movies use Foley all the time and laugh tracks and things like that to try and you know, get the ambiance right for whatever they're doing. And now that's if footballs are pro sports are turning into, and maybe even college sports, I don't know, are turning into an actual like production like that. It's not just
at the same time. It's hit or miss. But first, let's check out another sport. Let's say baseball. Have you seen baseball? Have you seen a baseball game?
I haven't watched a baseball game since I played. Yeah,
they sell cardboard cutouts. You can call the stadium. You can register and pay for a ticket and send them the JPEG of you, and they will make a cardboard cutout of you and sit you in the stands. So your cardboard cutout is there watching a baseball game.
That is ridiculous. So you could have you can be there without even being there.
They ripped that off from baseball.
Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. You may not be able to afford to live in San Francisco, the most expensive city the highest cost of living of any city in the United States. But for only $149, you can sit front and center in the end zone, or at least a likeness of you.
Yeah, and for only $45,000, you can have a monolith put in the stadium.
And for $1 million, you can have that flown to space.
Yeah, and you can watch the game from the worst seats in the universe
ever. International Space Station.
Hey, at least you'll still be able to hear the crowd noises, though. So there's that.
Basketball's worse. Basketball's worse. They're selling, like you guys have seen that Microsoft Teams thing where you hit a button and it like pulls all the people you're on a conference together into like chairs and stuff like that. Sure. Yeah, they've got these giant screens down the sidelines of the basketball courts lined with digital people.
Oh, that's terrible.
Have to register with each team so that they can watch the game live and be on the screen.
Oh my gosh. At least if they didn't have enough people to begin with, they could promote it with, they already have the images of Tupac and who else have they done so far? So they're already good with that.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? Is that's really like that's like the worst of the what is it? The status symbols. You know what I mean? These people want to go to a basketball game and everybody wants to sit on the floor level, all the mucky yucky yucks or whatever, the Hollywood crowd and stuff. And famous people. Well, like this is just like you're paying a lot of money to have a camera pan past your face on a screen. Like you're not even there. Like you're literally paying for a commercial.
My
Okay.
favorite are the
Yourself.
jokes. You know, like in baseball. You remember Weekend at Bernie's? You know, somebody's like paying to have Bernie sitting in the stands, and then you get an Elvis over here and a Santa Claus over here. It's just like, you paid money for this? It's awesome. But I mean,
but the other thing though is that if you really wanted to, you could just record the basketball or whatever game, and you could just with all the apps they have for phones nowadays, you could just key yourself into it, and hey, look, I paid for it. See, there I am. I'm good.
Well, I mean, at the same
Nobody
time,
was allowed in there but me. See,
see, look, I'm in the back right up there. You can do it.
At least with the football and the production aspect of it, I can at least kind of get behind it, because if you're not like hardcore paying attention to the stands, it's like there's nothing wrong, you know. And with all the lockdowns and all the BS and all the COVID stuff and all that stuff that's going on right now, it's nice to just forget about shit for a while, you know. And I really think that's kind of what's behind all of this.
Well, and as funny as it is, because it is pretty funny when you think about it, and they're not just doing it for this reason. Obviously, they're trying to maintain the enormous amount of money flow, but they're still trying to make it as entertaining as possible and make it as so people feel like nothing's changed, or as little has changed as possible. Because there's a lot of people who are just sports fanatics, and that's their reprieve from real life. It's some people like video games, some people like, pro sports. So
it's almost as if, guys, one could say that people do things like sports, like video games, like movies, to escape reality and the pressures and stressors of the world. Yeah. So maybe we should take that into consideration, guys, when they do that. Pro sports teams, get in your little handy dandy notebook and take notes.
Yeah, maybe. You know what?
Sounds like they should call Elon Musk.
You know what some people do to escape that I've never understood? Like, I have a couple neighbors that do this yard work. They are out there like clockwork. And I don't mind mowing the lawn when it's not summertime in Florida. If it's nice out, it's not a bad thing. I still don't like it. It's not something I look forward to, but some people, that's their thing. For me,
let me take you.
Go for it.
Oh, no, go ahead. For you.
What I was going to say is that they have those Roomba lawnmowers. I've seen those out there. That would be a good thing for me.
Okay, maybe we kind of talked about these robotic lawnmowers and junk a couple of weeks ago, and I actually did look into some of this. I actually found the least expensive one I found was like $800, but your average one was about $3,000.
Ooh.
Basically for $800, it's for a quarter acre. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of those fenceless electric fences.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Just a little wire that goes around.
Like when you got the wrist GPS tracker thing when you're when the feds are watching you.
You run this wire around your property, and that's how the unit knows where it can go and where it can't go. And
so wait, let's back up a little bit and unpack this for a second. So you said $800 for a quarter acre. See, because my yard is a quarter acre. So man, I'm on that low end. That's looking really appealing to me now.
But not all of them have the same kind of features. Like that's just you can like turn it on, and you can sometimes hook them up to a computer and like program when you want it to do what, and a lot of them are fairly quiet.
Well, they're electric,
operating real low decibel levels and all that, and then going back to their base to charge it. But this like that one, it only runs for half an hour before it's got to charge for 4 hours.
Oh wow!
So it's and the cuts aren't the size of a regular lawnmower. It's not like a 24 or 48 inch cut. You're talking 7 inches.
Sure. So and that's true. The upside of that is you're not doing it. So, like, I was reading reviews of people that have it cut their lawn. It's so quiet, they'll have it cut their lawn at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's
but
never
those
in
are the
way.
$3,000 units. Those are
Right,
the ones
that
that
do
you
it
can program
automatically.
the times on,
Yeah.
and that have those rain sensors. So if it's wet
Mhm.
outside, the thing will just go back inside and won't mess with your yard.
Yeah.
You know?
So
tell
yeah.
me this, like, you said you put up a fence around. Do you have to like bury line under to show like where like trees are and plant arrangements, or how does that work?
Some units, yes. Some units, no. Some of them have those built-in, like a built-in sensor. That,
like the
they can
drones
monitor
and everything.
obstacles and stuff. And then some of them don't.
Oh.
You know, like
And-
your lower
and
end one, it doesn't have that.
And some of them don't have one, but you can buy it. So they have like add-ons.
Oh,
for those
in-app
sensors and
purchases.
stuff. Yeah, they got an in-app purchase for it. The most of the ones that I've seen, there's a lot of mixed reviews. The one that I've seen like the most like kind of consistent reviews of the ones that I've looked at is called a Gardena is the name, and it's a robotic lawnmower. Yeah, so like there's a lot of pluses and minuses. Like for me, I have right at about an acre. And I have a fenced-in backyard, which means I mow the front yard. I have to mow the side yard, the backyard, outside the fence, and then open the fence and come and mow inside the fence. So it's like I'm mowing 3 yards: the front yard, the backyard, and then behind the backyard.
Mhm.
With something like this, I couldn't. For what they have now, it wouldn't work for me. Also, I've heard there's the main issues I've heard from them is, okay, so if you have a front and backyard, you're going to have to get 2, or you're going to have to physically pick it up and move it from the front to the back. It takes a long time to get this stuff done. A lot of times they have a hard time with even cuts. Because going over, you pretty much have to have perfectly flat yard. You can't have a slopes and stuff. They'll say that they can go up and down slopes fine, but I've seen a lot of bad reviews on them saying
Now,
that they can't slopes.
That being said, I did some looking at. Well,
Yeah,
I didn't see the one you were talking about. The ones I saw were the better one. The highest rated reviews were the Husqvarnas. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But like every other robotic lawnmower out there could only do like a 20-degree incline. This thing can do like a 70-degree incline or something ridiculous compared to everything else.
The other thing about them though
It's
is
$5,000.
The other thing about them though is that they're so small and light, which is great. But they're so small and light, so like anything's gonna mess up the cut. Like if there's like a twig or a stick that's not big enough for them to sense it and like go around it or whatever, it could tear it up. It could do this, that. And so I've seen people get 2, one for the front and one for the back. But there's definitely some work that needs to be done to improve the product, but hey, if your grandma lives down the road and you don't really have time to mow her lawn for her, and she can't mow it herself, and she's just got a little tiny lawn.
Yeah, if she lives in one of these like little retirement communities or something where they literally have like 1/8 of an acre, just flat, perfect grass or whatever. Yeah. The only thing I'd be worried about is that, running over that actual line that keeps it in, then you have this runaway mower that's just on the loose.
That's not how that works. It's got like a distance to that wire that it will not cross.
Okay,
so you don't have to worry about it going over the wire.
So it's like a passive wire, though. It's not an active wire. It's passive, and so if it breaks, it won't matter.
Yeah, I think if it breaks, you're.
Well, I'm guessing you're screwed because
your neighbor's chihuahua chews through it. Next thing you know, a lawnmower's chasing it.
My dog fence.
Yeah.
So
when I ran over it with a lawnmower, off he went.
Yeah, that would definitely be a problem. And the other thing is, you've still got edging and you've still got weed eating that you got to deal with. If you got a fence and it goes along your fence, that's great. But you're still going to have tall grass right up in your fence. You're still going to have tall grass in the corners because it's not like a Roomba or a vacuum, like a floor vacuum for inside your house, where the little brushes can go out the edge so that it can get corners. That those blades got to stay underneath for safety reasons. And so you're still going to be out there weed eating. So there's definitely some things that they got to work on, but it's interesting. I mean, I paid $3,000 for my zero turn riding mower. So, I mean, so $3,000 for a super nice high end, electric mower. If you don't like that stuff, then
10 years from now, $3,000 might get you one that will actually do everything you need it to do, and that'd be pretty sweet.
But in the meantime, Parrish can pop wheelies while he's drinking a beer.
You know.
Which sounds like an accident waiting to happen.
Chaz, you just get me, bro.
Parrish can pop wheelies on his lawnmower, and it looks just like this. And boom! There it goes again. I just had to play that video one more time. All right.
I wish I had $180 million just to set on fire.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
And just not flinch about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a good story to tell over drinks with your friends one day. Yeah, did I ever tell you about that time I blew up a $180 million rocket? I had a heart attack. Yeah. Speaking of telling friends cool stories over drinks one day.
Yeah.
Let me be like a trend. Hit us with an EMS story, homie.
Let's bring in some meat wagon mayhem. So one of the fun things that we dealt with in the locale where I worked was we had a lot of recreational drug use. Not we, people who lived there, in high amounts, lots of opioids, and that's a very serious subject, and everybody, of course, is knows somebody that has a problem or has had problems with it.
Yes,
it's
state of Oregon.
In America. It's terrible. What's that?
The state of Oregon.
Yeah, apparently they're all moving to Oregon now, though, because they've legalized all drugs there. So,
hey, which I'm actually for, to be honest, but that's beside the point.
Absolutely, and that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, I would agree with you there. So anyway, in the EMS organization I worked at, the area that we served was had very major problems with that, as in like some of the worst in the country at the time. One of the problems that we had with that was, people would shoot up. They would go ahead and they'd get their heroin from their dealer, and they wouldn't be able to wait till they got home. They wanted to get high immediately, so they would just pull over on the side of the road and shoot up. And so we would have these overdose calls of people like in their car, and it got to be really bad, like so much so that like people that were like just like pulling over at a rest stop and taking a nap because they were driving cross country. They would like people would call 911. There was like some of the worst were like you would have especially the young people at a gas station. They'd be pulling into a gas station and they're about to get out and pump some gas, and people look over and they're sitting here on their cell phone, like sending this text message, but outside the car, all anybody sees is this right here.
Right. Yeah, and I mean that's what it looks like when someone's either nodding out or dying because Yep.
And so people would call 911 for that, which was really frustrating for us because we would get there and the person would be like, "What, dude? I was updating. I was throwing some fresh pics on the gram, bro. And be like, okay,
but
bye."
At the same time, I will interject and say it's kind of in a way reassuring or inspiring or whatever you want to say that people we're over calling 911 to try and help people out that might be in that situation instead of just whatever, let them die, you know.
Yeah,
so that's kind
right,
of good.
Yeah. So now you all know that I was not working in EMS in the city of New York. It was people actually called
Boston.
911 concerned about their. I was probably just sleeping in his car. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, mind your own business.
Mind your own business.
Mind your P's and Q's.
Yeah, so we would. But the problem with this is we would get these legit overdoses that were in their car, and the problem with that is Narcan works really well. Naloxone, it counteracts opioid overdoses, and usually like that within just a couple minutes they'll be up and really pissed because you stole their highway that they've been collecting cans all morning for to raise money for, and so the problem with that is now they have a car and they have Narcan in their system, which has a half-life much shorter than the opioid that they took, and so once that Narcan wears off, it's like a guy who hasn't taken a shower in a week and he just slaps on some deodorant, right? This is how I told people. This is how I told people about it. If you haven't taken a shower in a week and you slap on deodorant, it might work for like an hour, right? But then that deodorant's going to wear off and it's going to be real stinky. So in this case, yeah, that Narcan stinks. They got the stank. The Narcan wears off, and then they go back down because the opioid's still in their system. So the problem with that is, so like we've Narcaned them. 15 minutes later, they're driving home, and then and they're out, and now we have a moving car with a passed out person behind the driver's seat. So what the solution? One of the easier solutions that probably wasn't legal. So I'll say one of the potential easiest solutions, I'm neither confirming nor denying that this ever happened, was we would have a patient, we'd pull him out of the car, we'd start him on oxygen, give him some Narcan. I always tried to do it by IV because it was more effective that way. And while we're getting all of that set up, the police officers, of course, are going to make sure that they're running the plates, they're running their info to find out if they have warrants. They're going through the car, making sure there's nothing dangerous in there, more drugs, weapons, stuff like that. And they would take the keys because we couldn't let the person drive away, but we couldn't keep them from driving away. Because they were just writing them a citation to appear in court. They weren't arresting them right then and there, and we couldn't force them to go to the hospital. So their keys may have been thrown in the bushes so that they couldn't drive home, and they had to get the car towed. And that was, necessity is the mother of invention, and so that was one of the more fun solutions, because then the person would wake up and they'd be like, "What you looking for, bud?"
Not again.
My keys. Weren't they in the car? I don't know. We'll check your pockets again, and then they check, pulling them out, and for 10 minutes we'll play this charade, and then be like, "All right, man. Well, good luck. I mean, you can walk home, right? I guess get an Uber. We'll get the car towed. Have a good night. Don't miss your court date. Don't do drugs." So yeah,
well played, sir.
We had to come up with some interesting solutions from time to time. That was one of them.
Well, that was a good one.
Yeah,
save somebody's life.
Yeah, well, and not just right, and not just the person who you just did the call for, but any other unfortunate driver or family driving down the road who now you have an unpiloted vehicle because the dude or woman nodded out again while they're driving at highway speeds.
No, it's legit. That happened to a friend of mine last week.
Oh man,
you know, she had her 4 kids, I'm sorry, behind her. You know, in her van. She's driving down the road, and somebody just veered off into her lane, and there was nowhere she could go. She broke her collarbone. One of her kids fractured a vertebrae in their neck. Another one had a big gash in the top of her forehead. Totaled her van.
Oh,
you know? Well, and that's the thing. You know,
you stopped that from happening. Is all I was getting at.
It's a really serious situation. A lot of the stuff that we dealt with were there's a lot of tragedy, a lot of bad. And so anytime we were able to inject some levity into it and have fun with it, you know, we definitely took full advantage of that. So it was, I mean, we couldn't help but give the guy 10 or 15 minutes to just watch him and be like, hey, well, did you check like under the seat maybe? And having the guy just tearing his car apart, pulling his, like ripping his pockets out to see if the keys would drop out of his pockets, checking inside. Could it have dropped in your shoe maybe, like in your sock, or, you know, so he's taking off his shoes. I mean, dude, it was good times. Good times.
Yeah, well,
it was a Wild West for.
You gotta find comedy where you can in situations like that, especially considering there's so many times when first responders come up upon a car where someone is passed out, say like, I don't know, a Wendy's parking lot or something like that, or a Wendy's drive-through, and next thing you know, they wake up and there's some violence that happens, and it's, you know, so when that doesn't happen, it's kind of a relief. Maybe move into comedy and just make it even better, you know? So, hey.
Well played. Well played.
Yep.
And that's me, Wagon Mayhem.
Well, guys, I think that's been a show. What do you say?
I feel good about it. I like it. It's, I think we laughed, we cried,
Yeah.
you know, we learned something. What's that?
I peed a little.
You peed a little?
Okay. And you know what? It's not so much. It's not so much about the destination. It's about the friends that you make along the way. All you guys out there are now our friends. So, you know, show us in the comment section. Tell us how much you like this show and how much you hated it, how much you like, you know, any little part of it. What do you think about the Disney movies coming up? What do you think about SpaceX's Starship exploding? Wait, let's one more time. There it goes. Boom.
And is this going to deter you from the rideshare program that opens next week?
Yeah, I guarantee you I won't be on the first flight, mostly because I don't have $1 million, but
That too.
That's a minor reason. Yeah, we learned from the Titanic. You don't want to be on the first flight.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching episode 5 of the Omega Dudes. Subscribe, like, hit notification bell, and please comment. Just comment anything you can think of, as much as you want. Comment. We'll see you next time. Peace.